right, we are live, and I am uploading this to Patreon. So if you are not yet over there, definitely check that out. There's going to be lots of exclusive content over the next 12 weeks for patrons, and also some I will make as much as possible publicly available over there. JoshuaRoman.com/patron. Hi, are you a cellist? Say, type something. Let's. Oh, hi. I see Julian. Hi, Julian. I don't know what kind of delay we're looking at here, so I am just here to introduce the Piatti journey. My name is Joshua Roman. I play the cello, and a long time ago, I did the Popper Project. And when I did the Popper Project, it was really something that I did for myself. I needed a way to practice consistently. And so I decided to upload an etude every week. And of course, at a certain point that fell off because I was traveling and playing a lot of concerts. But I really wanted to, this time around, while doing the Piatti Caprices, not to just record and release them, but to open up the process and share that with you. So this is kind of an example, loose example of the kind of thing that I'll be doing, although I'll be doing a lot more practicing during the project, the journey, Piatti journey. So 3 times a week, starting this Thursday, I will have a live practice session. And during those live practice sessions, I'm really going to practice. It's not just going to be joking around. We'll be able to interact like this. I see Julian, Andre, Borat, Derpenheimer. Thank you for being here. Derpenheimer, did I say that right? Yeah, so it'll be like this, but I'll be practicing and I'll want to hear your questions. If you're at home practicing along, that worked for me, that didn't work for me. Hi, Jonah. Welcome. And then at the end of each week, so the week is going to start on Thursday. I'll have live practice sessions on Thursdays. I wrote this down. Sorry. See, post-it notes. Thursdays, Fridays, and Mondays. And that's what we're going to do this week. It might change depending on your feedback, and I'll have polls going over at Patreon. Hi, Maria. I'll have polls going over at Patreon. That's where all of the content is going to be hosted. A lot of things will be free, but it's all going to be over there. We'll be interacting in this way. Hi, Alistair. And yeah, so Thursdays, Fridays, and Mondays, I'll be doing practice sessions. And those will be open. We'll do feedback. And then on Wednesdays, based on the feedback I get from you, I will release tips videos of the best practice tips that have come from them. Hi, Allison. So those tips videos weekly, again, they will be over at Patreon. And early access will be for people. Hi, Joshua. Welcome. There will be some early access and some exclusive access. And like I said, as much as possible of it for free. I know I'm not the only one without any concerts right now. So, and we're all staying at home, I hope, or able to. And so I really want to make this accessible. So like I said, as much as possible for free, 3 open practice sessions a week. And then on Wednesdays, the tips videos. And then on Thursday mornings, I will release the week's Piatti Caprice, much like the Popper Project, but this time with the practice room access. So that release is going to be exclusive early access for patrons. And then later, I haven't decided yet, I'll seek your input on this, like maybe a week later, that will be posted here on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. So everyone, including non-cellists, gets to see the beautiful Piatti caprices. But if you want to be behind the scenes, interacting, and going on the journey and really figuring out how to make the most of your practice sessions, that's over on Patreon. So I definitely, you'll need to at least bookmark that page. And if you can support the project, if you're someone who can do that, please do. All right, so I'm gonna say all of that again in a little bit. Oh, amazing. I would like to thank a new patron. I don't think I'm gonna say your name right, so please help me if I didn't. Chi? Chi Dian? Please tell me if I didn't say that wrong, right. But new patron, amazing, thank you, welcome. And I know Jonah, a patron, is on here too, so thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, so I'm gonna talk more in a little bit. I don't think I can see all of the comments. What is going on here? Can I see all of the comments? Can somebody comment so I can see if I can see all the comments? Or Jonah, can you text me and tell me if Joshua Lind is the last person to have commented? Because Joshua, you are the last person whose comment I see. How do I toggle that? So what I'm gonna do now, oh, there we go. Oh, Musica Angela. Hi, Suzanne. Thank you for being a patron. That's so great. Yes, good to see you here. So if you have any questions, now, thanks, Allison. Now is a time to ask them questions about the project. So in the meantime, I'm gonna practice a tiny bit. This caprice, by the way, is devilish for the arm. I find number one thing I have to make sure of when practicing caprice number one is not to play too much at one time. Not stuck on Popper. Allison says she's never played Piatti before because she's still stuck on Popper. Popper, ooh, the Piatti caprices. You get to see how we take that and turn it into something recordable. The Alfredo Piatti, this is a good question actually. He was a cellist that lived in the 1800s. I forget his birth date, but I know that he passed away around 1901, and he wrote these beautiful 12 caprices in 1865, Opus 25. He was a cellist and composer. And yeah, they're beautiful. You know, really fun stuff like again, I'm going to show you how to take it from that to recordable. I'm really inviting you into my practice room. Also, so many great moments. The last so I really didn't practice for this because I really want you to be there with me. So again, if you haven't yet, bookmark the Patreon page, which is where all the content will be. And if you can become a patron, I really appreciate that. But even if you can't, there will be content for you, and that's where you'll find it all. And the link is joshuaroman.com/patron. And it's also on the promo video I made for this with I don't know. I really like that. All right, I'm going to read some comments, come back to some comments. What is Piatti? Right, so Piatti was Alfredo Piatti, wrote these 12 caprices. I see comments comparing to David Popper. It is, yes. David Popper wrote 40 etudes, to be fair. So how is he supposed to give every etude the same attention that Piatti gave his? Also, Piatti, in calling them a caprice, I do believe that he was trying to make them a little bit more towards a piece than an etude, and that's up for debate. But um, yeah, they are beautiful. They are varied. They cover a lot of things that you'll actually find yourself using in pieces. They're, for the most part, more challenging than your average Popper etude, but there are definitely Popper etudes that are as difficult as Piattis. Definitely. So it's a difficult comparison, almost apples and oranges. How do I use the bow for Piatti? Which one? They're all different. Popper 2.0, I like that. They are difficult. That's why we got to break them down. I see this from Razef, more musical than Popper. No comment. Alistair Jones, don't give up. Definitely take breaks. That's something we'll be working through as I practice Piatti #1 this week. How do you keep practicing without injuring yourself, without becoming too tired? And I just played a Bach suite marathon yesterday, all 6 suites. I'm probably going to do that again this Sunday. So I'm really having to think about that a lot. How do I maximize the time that I use and build in breaks like an athlete would to take proper care of my body while practicing, also the brain? So that is something that we'll work on for sure. I play, this is from Juan Moreno. I have a Degani cello from 1899. It was made in Venice. Venetian cello. She's a little narrow, skinny like me, I guess. Very tall also. Her name is Midge. Midge and I get along well. Wesley, have I learned all of these before and am just refining them and recording them, or will you see me sight reading? You will not see me sight reading unless we can get into that. That could happen. I have played all of these before. It's been a long time. A long time. I'm not going to tell you how long because I don't want to feel old right now and I know you're younger. Okay. Vindy, the hardest thing that I can play from Piatti right now is probably... Piatti #3. I like to think of it as the clown car. I'll make it even more full of character. Okay, all right, enough of that. Let's save that for the real practice sessions, which begin on Thursday. Don't forget to bookmark joshuaroman.com/patron. And if you want some of the early and exclusive access, become a patron, support the project. I really appreciate everyone who is doing that. Thank you. All right, catching up with these. Not silent, replying to Alistair. Sorry, I'm not sure which one I'm replying to, so I can't reply to that. Theodore, do I know the intro for Popper High School of Playing #1? Intro? I don't know about an intro. What intro? I mean, I know Popper #1 pretty well, I guess. I did it a lot. I'm not doing those again. Maybe we'll talk about them. Maybe I'll do some tips videos. We'll see. Become a patron. You can encourage me. Don't encourage me. Musica Angela. Oh, right. Musica Angela. I know. Suzanne. Each week or so, can I choose? That's a good idea. Sort of each week, maybe I will choose a section of the caprice that I'm working on as a demo for people who are not quite ready for the caprices. Another idea I had, I'm curious what you think of this, and I will run a poll for my patrons on Patreon who are Piatti Journey participants. I will be running polls to get your feedback. So again, great place to participate on Patreon. What I was thinking is I definitely can, with your help even, find relationships between the Piatti caprices and other pieces that you might be working on, whether they are Popper etudes or other, Bach or other pieces that you're working on, I think it's important to understand the relationship of these works to the overall repertoire. So yes, and so let's definitely discuss that. Kazakhstan, nice. Chelvans, hi. I'm in California right now. I hope that you are safe and healthy. By the way, I don't think I said that yet, and I always do think about it. So wherever you are, thank you for being here with me, and I hope that you are healthy and safe and taking care. And that's one of the reasons I'm starting this now, is I want to help give you inspirational material. And it was tempting just to think I'll record them and share them, but I really want to show you how the practicing of them is working or not working, and really open up. And it's a little scary for me, I gotta say, because I really will be working on these in front of you if you join the Piatti journey. So thank you for encouraging me to do that. And I'm really looking forward to the process and the results, and learning together. Um, Popper for 2 years, it seems endless. It is endless, but it's worth it. Do I have a specific, this is from Anna Martina. Do I have a specific method to learn these by heart, or is it mainly repetition? I will talk about this more in the practice sessions, of course, which, by the way, if you're just joining us, those are going to be on Thursdays, Fridays, and Mondays. Times are subject to change based on what you are saying works best. That's going to be especially input from my patrons on Patreon. And just so you know, I've made it, I'm going to make as much of it free as possible. No concerts right now. So that's not fun. And I know that I'm not the only one. So trying to figure out how to make this all work. And what I've done is some of it will be publicly available immediately. And that is on my Patreon page, joshuaroman.com/patron. But also I've made the lowest level of membership $1 per month. So against the advice of, of the people I talk to. So if you can even spare $1 a month, you'll be supporting this project and have a little more access and input into how it plays out. One of the things that I will talk about, yes, memorization. I don't think of memorization. I actually think of internalization. So the very first thing that I do, and again, I'll go more into this later, very first thing I do is, if I were to read this, let's pick a different one. I saw someone mention number 11. So I'll do number 11 as an example. Oh yeah, right. Rather than reading it the first time just for the notes like this. G major chord, G major 6 chord. Very cool voicing of a C major chord. Now I can keep going and just work on the notes, or I can say, okay, what was that? And then I play the chords for myself. Remember, it starts in G major, and the feeling was big. Sorry, it's actually hard to pretend that I haven't played this one before and do it. But basically what I would do is immediately look away from the music, play what I feel. The feeling impression is the biggest impression when you read through a piece of music. And if I get things wrong, that's okay. I'm going to look at the music again, literally a second later. So yeah, that is basically, I don't think of memorizing so much as I think as internalizing, meaning I make it a part of the process of learning the piece to immediately be feeling inside, rather than thinking that memorization is something that I do later. That immediately look away, feel it, check back, always back and forth, almost never playing 2 times in a row looking at the music. And this can be the entire movement, the entire caprice, the entire proper etude, or it can just be a measure, a line at a time. All right, more on that in the practice sessions over on Patreon. Again, that Thursdays, Fridays, and Mondays. Derpenheimer says 11 is underrated. Yes, agreed. It's pretty nice. It's difficult. Neon Milo Shiloto. Thank you. I like my Degani cello too. Midge says thank you. Can I play Popper 4 again? Not today, but someday, maybe. Andre says, please do tips for Popper. Not now, but I will consider if the people who are joining on Patreon really want Popper tips as well. I don't see why we can't do that. So go and check that out, joshuaroman.com/patron. And, maybe after this is done too, who knows what's going to happen next. So for now, Piatti, but its relationship to Popper and other music is definitely on the table. Definitely. Kristen, thank you. Derpenheimer, Piatti project. I know, but I already did. Yeah, I know. I really wanted to make it a little more behind the scenes, and Piatti Journey was. I'm terrible at naming things. Moving on. Sylvans, can I play Etude 38 from Popper, I think you mean. Well, I have a recording on this YouTube channel, which you can check out. Right now, I'm not going to play that, but maybe again, at some point, the influence of my Piatti Journey patrons will sway me. Hi, Zachary. Oh, thank you, Sylvans. That's very sweet. And Neon, 16 personalities test. Yeah, but like years ago, and it keeps changing. Who are my favorite cellists? Well, Emmanuel Feuermann, if we're strictly talking just playing, Emmanuel Feuermann. Oh. But then how this lineage of cellists, I think, is incredible, from Feuermann, Casals, to Rostropovich, to Yo-Yo Ma, where there's just this incredible heart that takes the sound of the cello, the sound that's closest to the human voice, and not only puts it out in the world in such a warm way, but also pushes the boundaries of what people expect from the cello. And that's something that's very important to me, is to look at that lineage and find out where I fit in that and how I can help take what is there and push it further, like Yo-Yo Ma, like Rostropovich, like Casals. And those are, I would say, those are my heroes. Emmanuel Feuermann, though, if you've never heard his... Never heard his Valse Sentimentale, you're missing out. Razef. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hello in Bangladesh. Do you say Bangladesh or Bangladesh? I'm curious. And to Anisometropi, I'm sorry, I probably didn't say that right. I don't know the Bukovic concert etude. I would be curious. Solomon, yes, every day. Sylvans, can I turn on Russian sub? Doesn't work for live video, sorry. But Spatsiba and Dobre Otro, is that right? Sorry. Allison, yes, Popper tips. Well, there's a way to make that happen, but not today, not on this Piatti party. I'm kidding, it's fine. Anna, awesome, thank you. Yeah, it's really, even like I said, there's a tier on Patreon at $1 a month. And if that's not accessible for you, I totally understand, which is why I'm going to make as much of this public as possible, especially right now. It's a really hard time. I know a lot of us are not getting any paychecks, but if you can, even $1 a month supports the project and helps me buy food. Allison, which pieces cellists to listen to? Recommendations. You know what? Actually, pretty much anybody. I really try to listen to as many different people as possible to get ideas about how people play and how the cello works and what am I not thinking of. And even sometimes if I hear somebody play and I don't like how they play, then I might ask myself, okay, well, it doesn't hit me right, but other people like it. So can I listen to it in the way another person would? And that doesn't necessarily mean at all. In fact, it really doesn't mean that I would want to try to be like that person. But I think we can always learn something from putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes. One of the things I love about music is how much it relates to real life. And that is a perfect example. I have learned as much from listening to people whose performances I did not enjoy, and not only saying, oh, I don't want to mess up like that, that's not helpful, but you know what? If I let go of how I feel and stop saying, oh, I don't like it, I might actually notice more about their playing and see something that is interesting that I would not see if instead of truly listening, I just put up a mental block. So listen to as many cellists as you can. Definitely listen to as much modern music as you can. Right now, the best way to do that is to just ask your friends what living composers they know. Google, like look at New Music USA and other resources for names of composers and find out if they have cello music and listen to that. You want to see where the cello is going, not just where it has been. Derpenheimer, random question. Prime age for cello master. That depends on the cellist and how much they practice, how much they travel, how much they drink. It's impossible to say. Some people sadly pass their prime very early, and others manage to get better and better until maybe their bodies can't quite keep up. The second pronunciation, Razef, is that what I did? Sorry, I can't remember now. Sylvans, yeah, sorry. Oh, good, nice. Jeremy, oh, hey, good to see you. I've not yet played any of the caprices as encores. I think that they would work in terms of style and stuff, but a lot of them are kind of long. I usually stick to encores that are like 2 to 4 minutes, and a lot of the caprices are more like what 5 to 7 minutes, I think. But it's an interesting thought. I am Jonah. Yes, I'm going in order, 1 through 12, starting on Thursday. And just a recap for those of you who missed the beginning, and this will all be posted publicly on the Patreon page as well. Again, joshuaroman.com/patron. This is where all of this content is going to live. So how it works, Thursday is the first day of the Piatti journey. And on Thursdays, Fridays, and Mondays, I will practice the caprice from that week, and I'll probably practice a little bit ahead too. And it'll be a format like this, except a lot less talking and a lot more practicing and back and forth that way. And then after that, I will record a tips video for the etude of that week. So that means next Tuesday, I will be recording that video. And on Wednesday, I will release that video to patrons on Patreon. And I will record the video of the caprice itself. The video of the caprice itself gets released again on Patreon. There's early access there Thursday, the same day that I start the next caprice. That morning will be released, and that will stay exclusive. We'll have to decide how long. I'm thinking a week, but I will let my Piatti Journey patrons help me decide how long each caprice stays on Patreon alone before it goes to YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And that it will be a 12-week process, and I'm very excited and nervous. I'm kind of nervous. I'm gonna need your help. All right, back to the questions. Marcello. Oh, thank you. Have I ever played all 12 caprices before? Yes, I did. In fact, I used to do the all caprice marathon. I did it. Actually, I only did it like 3 or 4 times when I was, well, it was, I'm not going to tell you how old I was. It was 14 years ago. No, longer. Whoa. 15 or 16 years ago. I haven't really played them since. So we'll have to determine how much time I have to put into them. Right now, 3 hours a week at least, which you can join me for if you join Patreon. The way that you support me, this is answering Alistair's question. The way that you support me on Patreon is by, first of all, just bookmarking the page. Second of all, telling your cello friends about this project and sending them to my Patreon page. And third of all, if you sign up, it's one of those subscription services where you pay monthly for certain access. So right now, I've got the lowest level of support set at $1 a month. So you can become a patron for as little as $1 a month or as much as you want. And you will get different access in terms of early or exclusive access to the Popper Tips videos, to the live practice sessions, which will be live, but then also will stay up for 48 hours so that other people who can't see them live can see them. Also, people who are not in the live access tier will be able to see those after they go live. They'll stay up for 48 hours. And if you become a patron, also, I do a lot of other stuff there. I do multi-track cello recordings and all sorts of other practice sessions and videos, and that's only going to be growing. So I'm excited about that. Can I describe the difference? This is Musica Angela. Can I describe the difference between the sound of a live cello performance and the best recording productions and sound systems? There is no comparison. Live is just the best. Best microphones in the world are trying to make you feel like you're in the room. It's true. It's something that we have. These instruments don't need to be amplified. It's an incredible piece of technology, really. It's just old technology, but it's great technology. So best recording productions and sound systems for me are the ones that make you feel the most like you're in the room with the instruments. I hope that's an answer. To Miles, what are my thoughts on online lessons? However, given taking them, how much do I feel is lost? Does it vary by level of proficiency? My thoughts on online lessons are we all have to do them right now. I don't actually teach, so not myself. This is my version of that after last year attempting the Popper Challenge. And of you who followed along or participated in that, thank you. It was a stretch for me, both in terms of time and money, resources. It's not free for me to do this kind of thing. It takes time, and it takes buying things and purchasing subscriptions and all sorts of stuff. And I also was having someone help me with it, and she got a real job, which is great for her. And I wish her, she's great. So that was a blow. But through that, I learned that master classes online are difficult on Zoom because of the sound quality. Actually, I would recommend, this is my own personal thing, but I would recommend if you are doing a lesson, either as a teacher or a student, I think online, the best thing that you can do is start by recording yourself playing the piece and sending it to your teacher the day before, so that you have a performance where you're not subject to ups and downs of the internet, where you can really get the best microphone placement. If you have a USB mic, that helps. And that way your teacher can also prepare for the lesson a little bit and maybe even have a more effective lesson. It's really difficult online. I think we're all going to get a lot better at it and hopefully take those enhanced skills of communication back into real life whenever that happens. So Miles, I hope that was partially an answer to some of your questions. Jeremy, any tips for number 7? Yes, in 7 weeks. In 7 weeks, there will be 3 hours of practicing number 7. So if you're not a patron yet, that's where to get the best access to all of those tips. And I will also make a practice tips video during the week that I get to number 7. I'll just play it a little bit right now. So I didn't ever really practice like that. All I've been doing lately is going. Yeah. I'm such a dork. By the way, I want to do more of that. So For my patrons on Patreon, that's going to be a little fun thing that I'm just going to sprinkle in there. Maybe take votes on which ones should be funkified or whatever you want to call it. Valentin Chanas, I hope I said your name right. I'm so sorry I didn't. Thank you for becoming a patron. That's wonderful. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to share this journey with you. And I can't get my phone to show me the other notification that I have here right now. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Razef, Kreutzmacher. I've never done the Kreutzmachers. I do like, however, sorry, I do it this way. But I know it's written. Sorry, getting lost with myself. Anyone know what that was? Okay, next comment. This is a fun party. I'm drinking sparkling water. What are you drinking? Tell me what you're drinking. And yes, I'll play a little bit of Piatti number 5 here in a second. But I want to see, I've got sparkling water. Who else has water? Who's got lemonade? I would love some lemonade. Derpenheimer. Oh, yeah, emphasizing the bass. Yeah, practicing a lot too. Cello Rafa, what do I think about the Piatti Caprices played by Brazilian Antonio Meneses? I don't think I said Antonio's name right. Whoops. I don't know them. Allison, FaceTime lessons. Good. I'm glad that's working. It's got to figure out whatever works best. Master classes are a lot harder because of the platforms that you have to use in the way that they suppress audio quality. But FaceTime is actually not terrible. Anisometropy. I have a hard time reading that. Thanks. Cello Rafa. Oh, right. 5. I think it's in 5. I don't think I did that right. See, this is like me trying to remember it from 15 years ago. Nope. Right. All right, so right now, this is a great example of the sort of thing that I'll be doing. If I were just practicing that, the first thing that I would notice is I'm not really doing anything musical with it. It's sort of like, not great. So I would work on that. The other thing that I noticed is that my bow changes, especially on the long slurs going up, were very uneven. So how do I do that? I actually think the best thing to do is practice preparing it the same way I'm playing the other things, but with a real sweep, a real musical sweep. Oh, this is going to be so fun. More of that in week 5 if you join the Piatti journey. Yay! The notes for the jazzy Piatti creations. You know what? Maybe we'll do something where dictation is a part of this. That would be fun. Alistair Jones, thank you for becoming a patron. Awesome. Welcome to the Piatti journey. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it would be fun to share those. Yeah. Seth has tea. Yay. Anyone else drinking a liquid? Is anyone drinking a solid out there and choking? I have been lately just trying to be healthy and stay focused and thinking about all the people I know who are having a hard time right now, and it's not easy. So I think right now is a moment to really think about what it is we value most in life, like we always should be thinking, and direct ourselves towards that. So I do hope that this project is valuable to you, and that sharing in this way and sort of the nerve-wracking experience of literally practicing in front of you is something that will inspire and encourage you in your work. It's very important to me. It's why I'm doing this instead of just recording them and putting them out there. So, yeah. Where did I study and with whom, and where am I from originally? From Marcello. Is it ma cello or is it Marcello, like my cello? Like that's Marcello, yo. Or are you Yo-Yo Ma? He's so nice. Where did I study? I studied at the Cleveland Institute of Music with Richard Aaron and Desmond Hobig. And before that, I was with Gregory Sauer at the University of Oklahoma, where I was not actually studying I was studying with him. I didn't go to the university. That's where he taught. And Peter Spurbeck in Memphis was a big influence on me. And the first 10 years, from age 3 to 13, I studied with a violinist, Lacey McClary. He was the concertmaster of the Oklahoma City Philharmonic. I just got a photo with him a few weeks ago. Love him. Amazing violinist. And so he would demonstrate up here, and then I would play down here. Little 3-year-old me, 4-year-old, 5, all the way up to 13 before I studied with the cellist. So I think for that reason, I really love playing the melody. Bassline's fun too, but sometimes I feel a little bit like a violinist, which is weird because I am definitely a cellist. Cello is the best. And I'm from Oklahoma originally. And right now I'm in California. I lived in New York for 12 years before this. And before that, I was the principal cellist of the Seattle Symphony for 2 years. That was fun. And before that, Cleveland, and then Mississippi, and a couple other places. Allison, do I have calluses? You see that? Is that clear? It's hard to tell. I think that's clear. Yeah, it's a good one. And yes, also, like many who started young, my hands are different sizes. Look how much bigger the left hand is than the right hand. Crazy. Anyone else have that? Hashtag cello weirdness. All right, keep the questions coming. I'm liking this. Fun party. It's the best party I've been to in a while, for sure. Jonathan Smiley Eyes. Will I write my own? Ooh, interesting. Well, I definitely like jazzing. I'm going to do it again. This is going to be the theme song of the Piatti journey. I should put this in the background of every video I do where I talk. Oh, gotta wait for it. Weird faces. It would be fun to write my own caprices. That's a good idea. I do write music. I actually, this weekend was supposed to be in Columbus, Ohio, premiering my brand new double concerto that I just finished writing for Vadim Glucksmann, wonderful violinist, and myself, with the Pro Musica Chamber Orchestra. And obviously that's not happening for very good reasons. And as sad as I am about that, there are bigger things going on right now, but I do love composing. I'm supposed to write a string quartet this year. And every month, also on Patreon, this is not just about Piatti. Patreon has been a great platform for me to connect and share with people. Every month, at least once a month. I'm actually going to release a bonus one now. I do a track that I multi-cello track, and sometimes they're wait, how's it go? I did one a while ago. I can't remember. It was like da, 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 so that would actually be 2 to 4 cellos on the multi-track recording. Um, so that I also do that sort of thing on Patreon and put those out. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, maybe for my patrons, I'll do a special. Oh, that's a great idea. How many people want to see brand new caprices or etudes? I've played cello for 33 years. How do I come up with fun ways to play Piatti? Usually I hit go on the computer for a live stream like this, and then I'm like, it's going to take a minute. Oh, interesting. Yeah. That's how. Always goofing around. This is something that I will talk a lot about in the practice sessions and the tips videos and all that sort of stuff. It is up to each of us to be creative in our practicing. Our teachers can only take us so far. Their job is not to be creative for us. And if you really want to find your voice, your perspective, something that you can do that gives you a unique sound in a piece, it starts with being creative. And to be creative, you have to let go of that fear of failure. So I'm going to talk a lot and demonstrate a lot about how I do that, and how that also not only helps me be more creative musically, but helps me become more stable technically. You'd be surprised, but they actually go hand in hand if you do it the right way. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that. Again, for those of you who are new, those of you who have been here for a while, thank you for hanging out with me. For those of you who are just joining, I'm going to do the quick, this is what it is. Oh, where did my thing go? Does anyone know? Did you watch? Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. So Piatti Journey begins this week. 12 weeks, all 12 Piatti caprices. And in the end, they will all be released to the public as we go along. But this is how it's going to work. Starting this Thursday, 3 times a week, I will do open practice sessions, live practice sessions for Patreon patrons. That's going to be Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Although if those aren't working for my patrons on Patreon, we will change that. So this is really, it's got to work for you. So I'll need your input on that. What are the best times of week? 3 times a week for practice sessions. Then on Wednesdays, I will release a tips video for that week's caprice, which I will make based on what is most effective practice technique that we have discovered. And the practice things are going to be kind of like this. I won't be talking as much. Be lots of demonstrating and practicing and asking questions. And also, it won't always be just that week's caprice, because I want to practice ahead. I'm not going to leave number 3 to just the 3rd week. So number 3 might be in some of the first week's practice sessions, etc. After those tips videos on Wednesdays, starting a week from this Wednesday, first tips video for patrons, then the next day, the first Piatti Caprice recording will be released. The full video recording of first week will be number 1, second week will be number 2, etc. And that's going to be an early access release for patrons on Patreon. So if you are a patron, you'll get that then. And if not, you will still get it. It'll be up on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. It'll just take up to, I think, a week or so. We'll have to decide together how long that takes. So I got to make sure that if you are supporting and funding the project, thank you. And we have 4 people that have joined during this. So I've given shout outs to those, and thank you very much. Even $1 a month will get you some extra access and help support the project. So thank you. And then the Piatti Caprices will be released into the wild at that predetermined length of time. So along the way, it's inviting you into the practice room while I do this big recording project that is making me a little nervous. And it's very exciting. That's why I'm nervous about it, because it's exciting and I care. So if you can join, you do not have to become a patron to get some of this content. But what you do have to do is bookmark the page, joshuaroman.com/patron, which is where all of the content will go. The only thing that's going to go anywhere else eventually are the caprices themselves. But if you want the tips videos or any other kind of access or updates, that's all going to be at joshuaroman.com/patron. And you do not have to join, you do not have to pay to get to that. There will be some access for patrons who are paying more, and I really appreciate that. But you can get to a lot of it even without that. I'm new at this, I'm learning, and I really appreciate you being here with me. All right, now back to questions. From Suzanne, Music Angela. What ideas do I have for the string quartet? Do I compose with mood in mind or by using motifs? Usually when I start a composition, I have to have a little bit of a story, because there's this blank piece of paper and it says, I need to be music. So I usually start with a story, and then often I leave it behind as soon as I start hearing sounds. But I actually think that for the string quartet, I'm going to try not having any story in mind and just starting with sound, because I know string instruments fairly well. So I'm just going to geek out about the coolest stuff I can do. I actually have a really fun quintet, 2 cellos, 2 violins, and viola, called Tornado, because I'm from Oklahoma and I've seen a lot of tornadoes. That is a lot of fun. I see Anisometropy sent me, oh yeah, Valentine, Buknik Concert Etude. I will read some of this on the patrons only stream later for sure. But right now I can't put it on my phone, and I don't have my iPad with me. So I don't want to leave the stream and go look for my iPad, but I will do that. That would be fun. I'll put that in this week's, one of this week's live practice sessions. Thanks for sending that. That was fast. You work fast. Okay. Charlotte, do I have any ideas how you can play music with friends that are not in the same place, technology-wise? That's tough. I think right now, it's the apps like Acapella. It's almost impossible to do anything real time. I know there are a couple of apps that are trying to do that. But the main way is to record things and share them. Or if you don't mind, we can turn this on, and we don't have to be hearing each other to be playing at the same time and feel a connection. I think whatever you can do to maintain that connection without spending too much time online also. That's the real tricky part in this situation. So I'm glad that I know a lot of you are cellists, and I hope that when you are practicing, you put your phones on airplane mode so that you can really focus on being present. That is so important for your practicing, for your mood, for your outlook, for the way that you interact with other people. Very important. So when you're practicing, turn your phone off. Unless you're broadcasting to a bunch of people and inviting them into your practice room. The rest of the time, my phone's gonna be off. Don't worry. I love airplane mode. It's my favorite technology. Jeremy, thank you. I will take the luck. Yes. Charlotte, I'm excited too. Wesley, will I ever record? Oh, you mean I did record Dance of the Elves. I released that in Japan. Okay, didn't play it in like 10 years, so. Feels right. All right. I did. Maybe it's on Spotify or Apple Music. I'm not sure. BMG Japan released it. But yeah, that one's fun. Or do it like form on it. You ever seen that video? It's amazing. Funny story about why he held his face like that was not how he usually played, but he usually made these weird faces. People said that actually his wife said he looked like a fish when he played because of the stuff he was doing with his face. So for the video, they were like, "You can't do that with your face," and so he just sits there, kind of like trying not to move his face. Which is a shame because it's the only video that we have of him where he plays Dvorak Rondo and Spinning Song by Popper. And yeah, and we don't see how he actually usually played because he was uptight and nervous about it. Don't be uptight and nervous. Be yourself. I'm weird. I'm myself. Hi, Maria. Oh, yay, Anna. And Rich. Dance of Elves tutorial would be great. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Lots of ideas. We've got 2 minutes left of this live stream. So again, I want to thank Valentine, Alistair, hold on. Jonah and Chidian, and I hope I said that right, for becoming patrons. Everyone, please make sure you have bookmarked the page. This begins on Thursday, and for patrons, there will be all sorts of fun stuff. So if you can join, please do. And I really look forward to discovering how this all works, getting your feedback, and I'm gonna make a nice little promo video now. And I really appreciate your questions. They've helped me figure out what to say in that video. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram, like my Facebook page, but most importantly, bookmark joshuaroman.com/patron. And if you can become a patron, please do. I'll make it worth it. Cello Rafa, this will sound sad. How can I do this? This is one of the things we will work on. How can you practice in a way that is practicing how to be when playing music, not just practicing how your fingers move? That and more. That really, to me, is the whole point of Etude. So thank you for asking that question. That is what we're going to be digging into, is how do I practice in a way that makes me fully present, creative, and solid as a musician? So I hope you can join me on this journey in whatever way that you can. I appreciate it. And please spread the love, likes, shares, tell your friends. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Be safe, be healthy. And thank you so much. And Jeremy, yes, I see your question. That is something that will be happening. And Allison, yes, I am every night, Bach on Facebook. And tonight, Instagram is just going to be a fun little conversation, maybe kind of like this, but short. Facebook, Bach at 6 p.m. Pacific. And Walker, that is something I will address next week in the Piatti journey. And Jonah, awesome. I hope you have a good edition. I will see you all here and on Patreon, where all of this content will live throughout the journey. Thank you. I tried to be really cool and hit end session while I was still looking at the camera, but it didn't work. So I had to look. Sorry. Bye. Be healthy.